that two or more numbers share. So two or more numbers have them in common. They share them. Okay, our last word is greatest common factor. The greatest factor two numbers share. It's usually simplified as the GCF, the greatest common factor. Okay, so that was a lot of vocab words, but we're going to talk about these all unit. So as long as you have them written down, you can keep referring back to them. Okay, so we're going to actually practice finding the GCF. I know in 4th grade you did rainbows. We're going to do rainbows without the rainbows. What I mean by that is we're not going to do the cute little rainbows, just because it makes our work really sloppy and messy. Okay, but when we do the rainbows, my rule is a little different. So my rule is you always start at 1. You start at 1 and you stop when there is a repeat. So you start at 1 and you stop when there's a repeat. Okay, so what does this actually look like? Well, I'm going to find the factors of 9 and I'm going to find the factors of 12. And once I find the factors of both of them, I can see what the greatest common factor is. Okay, so for 9, I'm going to start at 1. So 1 times what will give me 9? 1 times 9 gives me 9. 2 times what gives me 9? 2 doesn't work. 3 times what gives me 9? 3. And I'm going to stop because there's a repeat. So the factors of 9 are 1, 3, and 9. I actually wouldn't even use the doubles. I just would say the factors are 1, 3, and 9. Okay, for 12, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start at 1. 1 times what is 12? 1 times 12 is 12. 2 times what is 12? 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. And then I'm going to stop because after 3 I would try 4, but 4 would be a repeat. So I'm done. So I've listed all the factors of 9, all the factors of 12. So they have 1 in common. They have 3 in common. Do they have anything else in common? Nope. Which means the GCF is 3. Okay, let's try another one. So 15, I'm going to always start at 1. 1 times 15. 2 times won't work. 3 times 5. 4 times won't work. And then 5 would be a repeat, so I'm going to stop. Okay, let's try 20. 1 times 20 equals 20. 2 times 10 equals 20. 3 times nothing equals 20. 4 times 5 equals 20. And then my next number I would try would be 5, and that's a repeat, so I'm going to stop. So my common factors are 1, 5, and that's all they have in common. So the greatest common one, which is the largest, is 5. Okay, so I have a lot more here to try. Okay, I don't think we're going to try all of them, but we are going to skip to this one. Let's try this one. Okay, so 1 times 12 is 12. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. and 4 would be a repeat, so I'm going to stop. 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6, 4 doesn't work, 5 doesn't work, and 6 is a repeat. So I have 1 as common factor, 2 is a common factor, 3 is a common factor, 6 is a common factor, but the GCF then is 6. Okay, so I hope you've kind of mastered how to find a GCF. Okay, I suggest you try these on your own and see if you can figure it out as well. All right, our steps then are, first you're going to find the GCF of the numerator and denominator. Then you're going to divide both the numerator and denominator by the GCF. You're going to leave the whole number alone if there's a whole number. Okay, so what does this actually look like? So here's my first one. Okay, my number is 18/27. That's how I would say that. I don't like when it's written this way, so I'm going to write it this way. 18/27. This means the cake was cut into 27 pieces and I have 18 of them. Okay, but my first step says I'm going to find the GCF of the numerator and denominator. So I'm going to write my numerator and my denominator, and then I'm going to find the GCF. So 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6, 4 doesn't work, 5 doesn't work, and 6 is a repeat. So I'm going to stop. Okay, 1 times 27, 2 doesn't work, 3 times 9, 4 doesn't work, 5 doesn't work, 6 doesn't work, 7 doesn't work, and 8 doesn't work, and then 9 would be a repeat. So my common factors are 1, 3, and 9, which means my GCF is 9. So that was step 1. Find the GCF of your numerator and denominator. Now I'm going to divide both the numerator and denominator by the GCF. Okay, so I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say divided by 9. So 18 divided by 9 is 2. 27 divided by 9 is 3. These are actually equivalent fractions. They're both exactly the same. They have the same value. Okay, so let's try another one. So again, I don't like when it's written this way, so I'm going to rewrite it. 1 and 9/12. Okay, so I'm not going to worry anything about this whole number. I'm going to set it up as 9. Oops, I didn't need that line there, sorry. 9 and 12. So I'm going to find my GCF. 1 times 9, 2 times, doesn't work. 3 times 3, and then that's a repeat. So I stop. 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4, and then I have a repeat. So my GCF is 3. So I'm going to divide, this is where it gets a little tricky though, the numerator and denominator by 3. But I'm going to not do anything to the whole number. So I leave the whole number alone. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Which means 1 and 9/12 is equivalent or equal to 1 and 3/4. This is the simplest way to write it. Okay, let's try some together. All right, the first one is 15/20. So what we really have is 15/20. That's my preferred way of writing it. And I'm going to set up 15 and 20. So I get 1 times 15, 2 doesn't work. 3 times 5. 4 doesn't work, and then I would have a repeat. Okay, for 20, I have 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 3 doesn't work, and 4 times 5. So let's see. My common factors are 1 and 5, which means my GCF is 5. I wish I didn't put those so close. So I'm going to come over here and divide both by 5, and I get 15 divided by 5 is 3. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So 15 twentieths is equivalent to 3/4, but this is the simplest way to write it. Okay, let's try the next one. I'm going to write it a little different. 1 and 14 twentieths. Okay, so I have 14 and 20. Let's find the GCF. 1 times 14, 2 times 7, 3 doesn't work, 4 doesn't work, 5 doesn't work, and 6 doesn't work. That one doesn't have very many factors. 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 3 doesn't work, and 4 times 5. So they have 1 and 2 in common, and that's it. So the GCF this time is just 2. So we'll put it here. GCF equals 2. So let's come over here and we're going to divide. We're going to leave our whole number alone. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. 20 divided by 2 is 10. So 1 and 14 twentieths is equivalent or equal to 1 and 7 tenths. But this is the simplest way to write it. The smallest or easiest way to write it. Okay, let's try another one. This one looks tricky. 21 over 56. Okay, it looks scary just because the numbers are big. We're going to do exactly the same thing. So 1 times 21. 2 doesn't work. 3 times 7. 4 doesn't work. 5 doesn't work, and 6 doesn't work. Okay, 1 times 56. 2, ooh, that's a hard one. I know 2 has to work because this is even. So if it's even, it means it's divisible by 2. So 2 times, it's actually 28. 3, I know 3 doesn't work because if you remember your divisibility rules, 5 plus 6 is 11, so 3 won't work. 4 times anything give me 56? Let's see. Well, 4 times 10 is 40. 4 times 11 is 44. 4 times 12 is 48. Ooh, so it'd be 52 and 56, so it is. This would be 14. That's a really tricky one. Okay, 5 does not work. I'm running out of room. 6 doesn't work because if 3 doesn't work, 6 can't work if you know your divisibility. 7 times 8, and then there's a repeat. So this one was really tricky, but if we just go slow, we're able to figure it out. So 7 is our GCF. So let's see, let's come over here and divide by 7, and I'm getting 21 divided by 7 is 3. 56 divided by 7 is 8. So 21 over 56 is equivalent to 3 over 8. Okay, so for homework tonight, you have 4 problems. I also suggest you go back and see if you could figure these out. And then make sure you always rate your understanding. Okay, have a nice day, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.